Let me tell you a story. It's actually the oldest story in the world. One that's been told in a variety of ways, across different cultures, and has made its way into fables, myths, and even children's stories, but is in fact very real. A story that presents a problem for all of humanity. It's the story of what went wrong with the world, and with us. In the Bible, it begins in a garden, a place called Eden. Adam and Eve, the first humans, lived in perfect peace with God, with each other, and with the world. There was no pain, no fear, no shame. Everything was, quite literally, paradise. But then came the choice. God had given them freedom, and with that freedom, a test. You can eat from any tree, he said, except that one. One boundary, one rule, one opportunity to trust God over their own instincts, and they blew it. Tempted by the serpent, they chose to believe a lie, that maybe God was holding out on them, that they could define good and evil for themselves. So they took, they ate, and in that moment, something cracked. Not just in their relationship with God, but in their very nature, in the core of who they were. That moment is what theologians call the fall. And out of it comes a deep, often misunderstood concept called total depravity. Now, before you turn this off thinking, depravity? Sounds dark and depressing. Stick with me. This isn't about how people are as bad as they could possibly be. It's about how the fall, that choice back in the garden, affected every part of who we are. Our minds, our hearts, our desires, our decisions. Let me put it in everyday terms. Have you ever had a moment where you did something you knew was wrong, but you did it anyway? Ever said something you regretted the second it left your mouth? Ever felt like there's a part of you that wants to do good, but another part that pulls you away from it? Yeah, me too. That's the point. Total depravity means we're not neutral. It means we're not born morally blank, like a clean slate that just needs a little polishing. No, the Bible says we're born with hearts that are bent inward, like a compass that doesn't point north anymore. We're tilted, inclined away from God and toward self. And it's not just our actions. It goes deeper, to our motivations. We can do good things, kind, generous, even heroic things. But if we're honest, there's often pride in there, or selfishness, or a desire to look good, feel good, earn approval. Even our best moments are mixed. The Apostle Paul says in Romans 3:10, "There is no one righteous, not even one. There is no one who understands, no one who seeks God." That's pretty heavy. And it's not just Paul. The Bible tells the same story all the way through. From Cain and Abel, to the flood, to Israel's constant rebellion, to Peter denying Jesus, again and again. We see the same theme, people choosing their own way over God's way. So why does this matter? Why spend 10 minutes talking about how messed up we are? Because without understanding the depth of the problem, we can't understand the beauty of the solution. See, the doctrine of total depravity doesn't leave us in despair. It actually sets the stage for the greatest hope in history. Let me explain. Imagine you're sick, really sick, but you don't know it. You think it's just a headache or some fatigue, so you don't get help. You try to fix it with a nap or some water, but the illness is deeper. And until you realize that, you'll never look for the cure. Total depravity is like the diagnosis. It says, hey, this goes deeper than you think. But the good news? There is a cure, and his name is Jesus. Jesus didn't come to earth just to give advice or set an example. He came to do what we couldn't do, rescue us. We couldn't reach up to God, so God came down to us. He lived the life we should have lived, died the death we deserved, and then beat death itself. Not so we could try harder, but so we could be made new. Not duct-taped, not self-improved, transformed. Now that's good news. Because if the problem is deep, if we're not just a little lost, but completely off course, then we don't need a map. We need someone to come find us, and that's exactly what Jesus does. So here's the big idea. Total depravity means we're completely dependent on grace. It means we can't fix ourselves, but we don't have to. God already made a way. And if we accept that, if we stop pretending we're fine and start trusting Him, then something amazing happens. We get new hearts, new desires, a new direction, not because we're good, but because He is.